Welcome back to live coverage of Apex Gaming's $5,000 Modern Open here in sunny Caldwell, Ohio at the Apex Gaming home store. I'm Todd Tandy Anderson, joined by Ross Merriam. Say hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
Two decks left, two players left. No breach. No breach, Ross. And you still got to work.
It's a dark day. Sad
Is
day
it?
for all of us,
It wasn't enough.
but especially me.
It wasn't enough. No.
It's not right, Todd. It's not
It's
right.
its last day. It should have went out on top.
Exactly. It's just not right.
Well, we do have some good news. No breach in the finals. That's good news for me and you, not for Ross.
I demand justice.
Well,
Justice for Josh Moscow.
Justice was dispensed. Folks put him down.
It was dispatched.
Dispatch. That's true. All right, so finals time. Franklin Folks, top aided yesterday in the finals today, might be winning the whole thing and definitely going to be number one on the leaderboard.
Absolutely already qualified for the Invitational. This weekend went as well as he possibly could have hoped.
Yeah.
And with this Azorius Affinity deck, if it's just Underworld Breach gone in the BNR announcement tomorrow, this could be the new hotness for Modern.
Could be. It's a very powerful strategy utilizing many of the same cards as Underworld Breach, and many are saying that it could be the next transition to those with all of those core components. And if you're still interested in playing Emery, well, I got a good Emery deck for you.
The package of Tomio, Emery, Mox Opal, Mox Amber, Mishra's Bauble, Urza Saga.
Yeah, maybe this deck should splash green for Rumble.
You could play Rumble and Haywire Might. You could splash any color you
You
want.
could even splash red for Underworld
You
Breach.
could play Flame of Anor with red. Like you could play black for Orcish Bowmaster, Psychic Frog, and Thoughtseize and Nile Spellbomb. Like, you could literally play any secondary colors you want. The mana is great, so there's going to be a lot of options for this deck. I do like the white though. Portable Hole is excellent.
All right, opponent is going to be James Mangus, who was slicing and dicing through Murktide all day, playing Orzhov Ketramose. We'll get to that in just a minute, but just want to show y'all what the players are playing for here. Not only does the winner receive their lion's share of the $5,000 purse, but they'll get this custom playmat featuring which Gearhulk?
Bright Glass Gear.
Bright Glass Gearhulk, the green-white Gearhulk. So that's the custom playmat they're fighting for. The prizes at stake are $5,000 in cash, as well as 2 guaranteed trips to the regional championship and the Apex Invitational already locked up. So congratulations to these two, but we still got one more match to play. They're ready in the feature match area, so let's head on down for the finals.
No combo kills in this match. It's going to be about straight card advantage and interacting with these powerful threats. Emery and Tomio on Folks' side, and Ketramose, Overlord of the Baelmerk, Philia on Mangus' side.
All right, we're underway. Mangus was not the higher seed. I don't know why he got to go first. I'm not going to worry about it.
Might have chosen to be on the draw.
Might have chosen to be on the draw. They're also car mates and good friends. They both said we have bragging rights on the way home, whoever wins. And I said, really? That's impressive.
Oh, so there's plenty on the line here.
Yeah, everyone wants to go home a champion. No one wants to go home a champion.
So Mangus leading on a Relic of Progenitus, which ended up being awkward in the face of Folks' Portable Holes. Mangus did not have the mana available to sacrifice that relic for a card. Folks gets to trade for it. Now Mangus forcing even more trades with this turn 2 Thoughtseize. Folks has a hand of, looks like 2 lands, 2 Urza Sagas, a Mox Amber, and a Metallic Rebuke.
Yeah, not the greatest hand in the world. It's going to give Mangus a lot of time, but those Urza Sagas are threatening. We'll see if Folks wants to deploy one here and start making contracts on the following turn, and he does.
Now, Mangus could potentially have Witch Enchanter as a land into Flicker Wisp the Witch Blessed Meadow, but does not. Instead, leads out with a Ketramose, and now doesn't have the Relic of Progenitus to complete the engine.
That's true, but the deck does a great job of drawing cards over time with Ketramose. It's not really a difficult card to operate with in your deck with things like Emperor of Bones, Philia, and Solitude. You just have so many ways to trigger it.
Well, Mangus opting to main phase ephemerate the Ketramose. That will draw him a card, and potentially another next turn with Rebound.
I think this is a great play. They're both laughing, but like, this is not a play that a lot of people would make, but it's one that I think is quite good. Mangus doesn't have anything to do, so cycling this Ephemerate gives him a chance to draw Philia, Flicker Wisp, Witch Enchanter, Fatal Push, etc.
Yeah. Now, while the Ketramose here is drawing cards, there aren't 7 cards in exile, so it can't attack or block. So these constructs for Folks are going to start coming in unabated, and Mangus needs to either find answers to them or ways to fill the exile zone rather quickly.
Yeah. So next turn, the Ephemerate will come again, and it will blink the Ketramose again and draw another card. I believe Mangus has 2 copies of Fatal Push in hand to clear these constructs. So I think that we're in pretty good shape, all things considered.
Well, there's another Urza Saga for folks and a Mox Opal. So now this is 6 total artifacts.
Okay, push the one you target.
Yeah, wants to do that in response to the equip because the boots does grant Ward 1.
And kill the one you target again. Okay.
But he's still under the gun from constructs next turn. They're all going to have haste because of the Lava Spur boots. He's losing life from his own Ketramose. And there are no cards in exile other than the one under Portable Hole. Let's not forget that one.
That's true. Those do count. And so now we're going to play Urza Saga number 3. Folks is going to bury him in constructs.
So this can be a main phase make construct then equipped with Lava Spur boots.
Yeah, looks like that's what we're going to go for to get aggressive. And we saw that early hand from Folks did not look great. Here is an equip. An attack.
This looks to be 6. I think it's 5 artifacts plus the one from the boots.
Okay, Mangus going to fetch. Likely going to go get a Surveil land, and is potentially dead next turn without some help. Needs something like a Solitude. Relic of Progenitus would be a big burst of cards, but his life total is getting a little bit low. That would probably allow the Ketramose to start attacking and gain life, but with Lava Spore boost plus the construct, this is going to be huge chunks of damage coming.
This was a hand for Mangus that was weak to Urza Saga, and folks had 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, Ketramose, though. I believe in Ketramose.
If folks' hand was Tomio into Emery, then those fatal pushes look a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Mangus here really tanking on this Surveil on the instep. Gonna leave it on top. Must be quite good.
Yeah. He has to think about not only
Likewise.
what helps him survive, but also what helps him get back into this game to the point where he could win. Because if he's just delaying the inevitable, then that draw step's not even worth taking, even if it allows him to live a little bit longer.
Okay, so Flicker Wisp is the draw. It was kept on top. Looks like we have Metallic Rebuke to pay. These two friends here, Mangus was like, oh crap, I forgot to play around Metallic Rebuke, and he threw his land and played really fast, and then laughed and conceded.
Yeah, and even if he had played around it and resolved the Flicker Wisp exiles the construct that's in play, but folks replaces it on the following turn.
Yeah.
Flicker Wisp has to chump block. Maybe Mangus can get something going. He's drawing an extra card off the Flicker Wisp trigger from the, well, not if he exiles the construct token. So might have just tried to exile something else and draw off the Ketramose. He was in rough shape there.
All right, as these players are reaching for their sideboards, they're going to take some time. This is an open deck list, top 8. We're going to give them some time. Ross, give me the rundown. How does Mangus in this Orzhov Ketramose deck defend against Affinity?
Well, Mangus has quite a good sideboard for this matchup. It's 3 Aven Interrupter, 1 Elesh Norn Mother of Machines, 3 Stony Silence, 2 Vindicate, 4 White Orchid Phantom, and 2 Wrath of the Skies. The Stony Silences and Wrath of the Skies are awesome. We've seen all day how Franklin Folks has just spread the battlefield with cheap artifacts. Stony Silence shuts a lot of them off. Wrath of the Skies just clears them all off. And Wrath of the Skies also destroys Urza Saga since it's an enchantment. The White Orchid Phantoms, I think, will also be coming in. These players are close friends. This is open deck list, so Mangus knows there's only one basic in Folks' deck. It's one island.
Yeah.
Now, there's also 4 Racertide bridges that are indestructible, but I think the ability for White Orchid Phantom to further restrict Folks' mana, which is what Wrath of the Skies and Stony Science already do, as well as destroy Urza's Saga, which was the problematic card in Game 1, make it a worthwhile addition post-sideboard.
All right, on the other side of the table, Franklin Folks' Azorius Affinity deck is up a game. What does he have at his disposal that can defend against these Stony Silences and such?
Folks has 3 Consign to Memory, 2 Damping Sphere, 3 Dispatch, 2 Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, 2 Split Up, 1 the Stone Brain, and 2 Torpor Orb. Here, I think the Dispatches are excellent. It's another card that when you have Metalcraft can exile the Ketramose, so needs an answer to that key card from the Orzhov deck and dispatches it. And I also think we'll see the Torpor Orbs come in. Shuts down a lot of the enters the battlefield triggers from Boggart Trawler, Flicker Wisp, Overlord of the Belmark, Solitude. It also makes, because it shuts down those ETBs, it makes Philia significantly worse. So those 5 will certainly come in. Everything else much more questionable.
All right, as these players shuffle up for game number 2, I'm going to take this time to say thank you to the sponsors for Apex Con and this weekend's festivities. We are sponsored by Moxfield. Moxfield.com is a great website for building and sharing decks with your friends. We are sponsored by SpiceRack.gg. SpiceRack is tournament software that you can use to find an event near you or run events yourself. Check out SpiceRack.gg if you're a tournament organizer looking to put on some events. We're also sponsored by Ultimate Guard, the industry leader when it comes to TCG supplies. From the archive deck box to katana sleeves, check your local game store for Ultimate Guard products today. And last but definitely not least, we are sponsored by Once Upon a Galaxy, the new asynchronous auto battler from some Magic greats, Luis Scott Vargas, most recent Pro Tour champion Matthew Nass, putting out a really sicko mobile game that you can find on any mobile store. That's Once Upon a Galaxy.
Okay, players nearly done shuffling up here for game 2. Mangus going to be on the play, going to look for a somewhat similar hand. He had the Relic, he had the Ketramose. That's the core card advantage engine for his deck. He just needs more appropriate interaction. He had a bunch of Fatal Pushes that game against a bunch of Urza Sagas for Franklin Folks, and that didn't line up very well. Now that he's post-sideboard and he has things like Stony Sands, Wrath of the Skies, White Orchid Phantom, much easier for him to find hands that have both card advantage and appropriate disruption.
All right, we're underway. Game number 2. Let's get it. Bleachbone Verge. Relic of Progenitus, pass. See if Folks has the portable hole for it once again. No, just the Razortide Bridge. Turn number 2, pass is threatening Ophelia. Folks going to play another tapped land. And going to deploy a little bit of a slow Relic of Progenitus. And Manga says, that's fine, because guess what? It's Ophelia time. Ophelia's a good doggo.
Oh, Ophelia blinking the portable hole is a little awkward, but this suggests to me that Mangus has one of the copies of Wrath of the Skies.
Ross, I need you to dream a little bigger. I don't care about Ophelia blinking a portable hole. I want Ophelia to blink like a flicker wisp so that it comes back on the end step and eats the opponent's land for half a turn or whatever.
Sure.
There are so many powerful combinations with Ophelia in this strategy. Here it is, the doggo. Emery, though, on the turn with Folks, and it looks quite good. Here's Overlord of the Belmark. This is the nice one. Here's Witch Enchanter and Solitude. We're going to take the Solitude. Blinks the Belmark. Attacks for 2. Folks going to take it down to 18. Do we have a land to play? Slow it down, James. Here's Marsh Flats. In a turn, Belmark comes back fully operational. 4 more cards in the graveyard. We find another Solitude. This is the Orzhov Ketramose deck that I play.
Yeah. Also finds a Ketramose, so going to put that one into hand, and if he wants to, can evoke the Solitude to deal with Emery, and he does. Pitches a Flicker Wisp for that.
Resource rich.
Now, Folks does have Metalcraft, has 4 artifacts in play even, so a Dispatch will handle the Overlord of the Belmark, unless Mangus also has an Ephemerate in hand. But without a Dispatch, Folks is very far behind.
All right, Folks going to play Urza Saga as land number 3.
Those constructs very, very big.
Float a mana here. Plays Portable Hole. Take out the Ophelia. Dog down. Bork. And 3 for a split up. This is a nice little sequence to clear the board. Overlord Belmark is gone. We know Mangus has a powerful follow-up here because it looks like Ketramose is about to join the fray.
Yeah, has Ketramose in hand, we know for sure. And from that turn 1 play, allowing the portable hole to exile a relic, I suspect Mangus also has Wrath of the Skies, which would be even better. That would clear the 2 portable holes, the Mox Opal and the Urza Saga from Folks' battlefield, and give back Mangus the Ophelia and the relic.
Oh, bless you. All right. Mangus here with a Surveil. Going to put Vindicate into the graveyard. So it came in out of the sideboard. It's a little bit slow here, and we're aggressive in this draw. So we are going to bin it. And here's Wrath of the Skies for 1. Boom.
Folks now down to just 2 lands with 1 card in hand.
Okay, your go. 2 mana Obliterate. 1-sided. Is that any good?
Oh, it looks like he had a little bit bigger hand.
Okay.
Still very far behind because you know Mangus has that Ketramose, now has the Relic.
Here's Tamio.
Start drawing a bunch of cards.
And back Mangus's way. Now we have Ketramose coming in, and that, in tandem with Relic of Progenitus, is going to draw a boatload of cards.
Mangus down to 18 with the tap ability on Relic. Now gonna flicker it the Relic with Philia. That also triggers the Ketramose. The Relic will come back untapped, allowing him to tap it again and draw a third card.
What does Gatsby say? Well played, old sport.
Yeah. Now, looking at Mangus's hand, it is not particularly good. It has 2 more copies of Ketramose.
Okay, but he can just pop Relic at any time to draw 3 cards, so I think he's doing just fine.
Yeah, it's drawing 3 extra cards a turn.
It's pretty good.
Looks like he has another Philia in hand as well. Okay, now going to pop the Relic, so that'll shut down the card advantage engine, but it does ensure that Ketramose can start attacking, and even finds another Relic. So,
all right,
I'm going to point in the driver's seat.
I'm going to point it out again. I'm pretty sure Mangus drew 1 fewer card than he was supposed to with Relic, but they're triggers that you can miss. And so Franklin, I think, is explaining to him that he should be drawing 1 more card and losing 1 more life, or else they're just bookkeeping life totals. But when you exile that Relic of Progenitus there, you draw 1 from the Relic's ability, you draw 1 from the Relic exiling itself to Ketramose's ability, and you draw 1 from Ketramose's ability exiling the graveyards.
Yeah. Because exiling Relic is part of the cost of the ability, that happens separately than the effect of the ability, which is exiling the rest of the graveyards.
Yeah. And I think James is maybe starting to realize that he's been playing it wrong all day. But Franklin and him are good friends, so he should be drawing 1 more card. But, again, this is a trigger you can miss, and so if he missed it, it's fine. But, again, I think they're friends, so I think they're just going to let it go. And a grip full might even have to move to discard here. And Folks knows that this game is likely done. We'll see if he's able to draw something like Dispatch to take care of Ketramose, but we already know Mangus has another one.
So now, even if Folks loses this match, he has the bragging rights over Mangus, saying, buddy, you didn't know how your cards worked all day. I had to tell you in the finals.
Yeah, embarrassing. Embarrassing. It's okay. They're in the finals. They're qualified for everything. They're best friends. Nothing to fight over. And here's Thoughtcast. That's going to draw 2. Make Tamio flip. James with a big stretch. Another Thoughtcast. I also think James forgot to play a land last turn. I think he maybe thought he was ahead by 1 extra, but it was the
He didn't have the lands. He drew them all on the end step after with the Philia trigger and the Relic then.
Ah, okay.
So
fair enough. Okay, here is Nadakara Wastes after a couple Thoughtcasts. Tamio tick up. Find me a Dispatch, please. Please, please. Just an Emery. Nope, just a Tamio. Even worse. Here we go.
And Folks has done a good job of setting up some card advantage of his own, but eventually this Ketramose is going to overwhelm him.
As it does.
And he can even use the Philia to blink the Tamio Seasoned Scholar, and then when it comes back, it's an Inquisitive Student, and you have 2 legendary creatures, and you have to sack one of them.
And you still draw a card because you're exiling something from the battlefield of Ketramose. Okay, Mangus here. Commanding lead. But hand, rather lackluster. Plenty of cards exiled now for Ketramose to swing in. And he does your play. It exiles the Tamio and will draw a card. I imagine Folks will just kind of shortcut that one to the graveyard pretty soon. Finds another Philia. A lot of legendaries in this deck, so it can be a little awkward when you draw too many cards.
Mangus needs to find something like Emperor Bones, you know, an Overlord of the Balamurk, something that can really add to these attacks. But honestly, the Philia and Ketramose, that's 7 turn, maybe more if you exile your own things with Philia and pump it further. So he's established a reasonable clock.
Mangus going to fetch main phase. I believe a Relic was picked up at some point, so we can deploy that. But we have a 5-mana play. Maybe this is Overlord of the Balamurk.
Yeah, it shouldn't be Solitude. If it's Solitude, you want to wait till the end step. Yeah, just an Overlord, and Folks has seen enough Too many
Okay.
cards in Mangus's hand, not going to be able to come back from such a lopsided position.
Yeah, and Folks' deck is not a combo deck. It's not like grinding Breach where if you're a little bit behind, you just draw Breach and kill your opponent. Folks has to do it the hard way, and so if he's so far behind that something like Urza Saga can't catch him up, maybe it's got to be like Thoughtcast into Triple Dispatch, something unbelievable.
Yeah, and if he's not under any pressure on his life total, he has more time to draw back into the game, but he was under considerable pressure, just behind on every metric there.
Yeah. All right, so a little bit of time to kill here between these games. I doubt they're going to go back to the drawing board too much as far as sideboards are concerned. So I'd take this time to say thank you to the wonderful staff here at Apex Gaming, helping us put on a great show, making sure that the customers are happy and all the tournament runs smoothly, from our judges to the event center staff. We thank you so much. I want to say thank you to the Huck brothers, Kyle and Taryn Huck. They bring Ross and I up and treat us like family every time we come, and it's always like the best part of my month. So thank you to them for keeping Ross and I fat and happy. We had 116 players show up today. We only got 2 left. Best friends riding in a car home, just like me and Ross tomorrow. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for some dinner.
I'm ready for some etc.
Yeah, I've had the wings. Now, give me that etc.
I had the etc. yesterday, so it might be wings for me tonight.
I was figuring we'd probably get late night Taco Bell, would be my guess. But we're getting out of here relatively early compared to yesterday.
About the same time.
Is
Between
it-
9 and 9:30.
What time is it?
It's 9:06.
What? How's it already 9 o'clock? Today went by so fast. It was a wonderful day, though, full of great magic, great memories.
Time flies when you're having fun.
They do say that. They also say Wrath of the Skies kills Franklin Folks' whole deck.
See one of those sideboard Vindicates in Mangus's opening hand. I have to wonder if potentially the White Orchid Phantoms did not come in. Haven't seen any of them. He drew a lot of his deck in game 2. Maybe says that your Wrath of the Skies and Vindicate is enough to cover those sagas, as well as the potential of Witch Enchanter.
I'm not even a big fan of the Vindicates, honestly. I think that that's the type of card for me personally where if it's not good enough for the main deck, it's definitely not good enough for the sideboard. Like, it answers anything, but that's a nebulous thing to answer, and sideboards are usually built with specificity in mind.
I agree. You tend to see more focused things, but there's a lot of decks in Modern that present a wide array of threats. So having a versatile answer against things like this Azorius Affinity deck that has creatures, lands, artifacts that you may want to kill. You may need to deal with a Pithing Needle on a Relic of Progenitus. You may need to deal with an Embry, and you may need to deal with an Urza Saga. So Vindicate can deal with all of those, and that versatility is valuable in matchups like this.
When was the last time you cast a Vindicate, Ross? It didn't age well. I'll tell you that.
Probably in Vintage Cube.
I bet it would still be pretty good if Deathrite Shaman were around.
I think I had Vindicate in a Cube deck last week, so.
Ooh, how was it?
Oh, it was real good.
Blowing up their land feels pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Folks takes a mulligan here to start game 3.
They really don't let you do that much anymore, huh? It's like everything that's Vindicate-esque is like non-land permanent. They even go sometimes say like non-colorless permanent. You can't touch these lands.
And Folks doesn't like his second hand, so he's going down to 5 here.
Can recoup the lost cards pretty quickly with things like Thoughtcast.
In danger of taking a lot of grief from his friend Mangus on the ride home.
Oh yeah. I want to be clear. I think Mangus actually kept a pretty sketcher. If he doesn't have Witch Enchanter hiding in those white cards, I think he's keeping a 1-lander on the draw with double Wrath of the Skies, hoping that Shadowy Backstreet bails him out. Hey, we might have a little bit of a sweat here. It's the finals, folks. One last game.
5 cards against 1 land. Who will take it home?
Well, whoever's driving, that's who's taking it home, literally, because they're both in the same car.
I think the loser of this match might be the one driving.
All right, 2 cards on the bottom. It looks like we're ready to go. Game 3. Tommy on turn 1. Great start. Let's see if Mangus has an answer. Says go. I think he picked up a second land, so
So do I.
anything that was scary, no longer. Tommy gets in, makes a clue token. Folk's going to play a tapped land here. In a turn, Mangus going to fetch down to 19. likely going to find Shadowy Backstreet. We're going to surveil the top card and see if it's good or not. Probably still wants another land, so looking for that. Probably going to bin most spells. All right, in the tank on it. And Graveyard. It's a Solitude, so he has to be wanting lands. March of Otherworldly Light. Does that hit the artifact lands?
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's Stony Silence from James Mangus. That was the white card I wasn't sure on if it was a Witch Enchanter or not, but this one is arguably better. Clue tokens down, the artifact lands down, and without some way to remove it, Franklin Folk's going to have a hard time casting spells.
Yeah. And we know Folks' deck has 4 copies of Portable Hole in it that can remove Stony Silence, but Mangus is waiting with the Wrath of the Skies to then wipe the battlefield and reestablish the Stony.
All right, more junk. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, they can
6.
still improvise.
They sure can. Turn 2, Kappa Cannoneer. Or turn 3, excuse me. All right, going back to Mangus's way. Put a Solitude in the graveyard, huh?
And now this Wrath of the Skies might be a little bit too late.
All right, so still at 18. Kappa Cannoneer going to be attacking for 5. If Mangus can maybe...
Well, with the Tomio making clues, it attacks for 6, 7, and then 8. So it's potentially a 3-turn clock. Mangus doesn't do anything to contain the rest of the battlefield.
I think life totals are incorrect. I think Mangus should be at 16 because he went Fetch Shadowy, Fetch Shot Godless. We're going to go for Overlord of the Belmerk. I'm sure the spotters will get the life totals checked out here in just a second, but I do want to make sure that they're correct in case the players are wrong.
Okay, though there's a Witch Enchanter, so it's either that or Solitude coming back from the Overlord. Mangus chooses Solitude.
Yeah, and now if he finds land number 4, he can pitch Solitude and pay for the, what's it called?
Ward.
Improvise. Oh, the ward, yeah, excuse me.
And Folks has a Thoughtcast in hand, so can cast that and reload. Going to attack first.
Didn't cast Thoughtcast first. To me, you know what that means, Ross? It means he might not be casting that Thoughtcast this turn, huh? What's he got for 2 mana that he's holding up? Just does it post-combat? I don't understand this. It was one to cast.
Oh, didn't want to transform the Tommy.
Okay, now I understand. Makes more sense. Do miss maybe a damage or 2 off the Kappa Cannoneer if you play some zeros, but I think the guaranteed +1/+1 is a bit better.
You miss a guaranteed damage instead of potential damage.
Stony Silence, not looking so good here.
Well, it is shutting off all the clues, the Razortide Bridge, and the Mox Opal. It's looking pretty good. If Mangus can just find an answer to the Kappa Cannoneer, he can clear the rest of this up.
All right, here's Pithing Needle. Franklin tried to stick it in there on that aired Mesa, but Mangus going to fetch quickly in response. Going to be needing mana number 4 so that Solitude can take care of the Kappa Cannoneer, and then Folks is going to be shields down. There's no mana available for him here for Metallic Rebuke, thanks to the Stony Silence. And so it's land number 4 bust for Mangus. He might get clocked next turn if he doesn't find it.
Now, also notably, if he does deal with the Kappa Cannoneer, the Wrath of the Skies doesn't hit Planeswalkers. So Folks transforming the Tomio protects his next best threat from that sweeper.
Mm-hmm.
And he can either push towards a
Marsh Flats. I heard him say it. Marsh Flats. Okay, so he's trying to scam James. James kept a card on top. If it's Marsh Flats, this could be a disaster. If it's any other land, it could be in business.
I hope it's Marsh Flats.
I hope it was Marsh Flats too. It's Godless Shrine. We're going to go Solitude, pay the ward cost.
But Mangus is going to have to fully tap out to pay for the ward. Folks can untap +2 the Tomio to 6. He's 2 turns away from ultimating that. So Mangus is going to need to follow up this Solitude with a threat to pressure that Tomio.
Okay, but we're out of the woods and into the forest, I guess. Here's Kappa Cannoneer down. We'll see if Franklin Folks can reapply any pressure outside of the Tomio this turn.
Mangus falling to 7 for that shocked Godless Shrine. That does correct for the earlier shrine that I think the spotter missed. So life totals are correct there. 7 to 27 in favor of Folks.
Emery now coming in. Decent pickup perhaps. We're going to Mill 4. What do you think about minus the Tamio to cast Thoughtcast for 1?
I think you plus and force Mangus to show you a threat. Mangus doesn't have that many cards left in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Embry could potentially chump block for a turn. Although we do see a Vindicate in Mangus's hand, so I think this is going to be Vindicate on Tamio, Seasoned Scholar, and then he will try to clear up the rest of the battlefield from there.
Mm-hmm. We're going to play Boggart Trawler as a land. I'm going to pass the turn back. Franklin Folks under Stony Silence lockdown, has an active Emery.
But didn't hit a portable hole, which is what he was looking for, though Mangus probably hoping for that too. Because if Folks portable holes the Stony Silence, then he can Wrath of the Skies for 3 and clear away the Emery while keeping the Stony Silence around.
Folks just going to get in for 1. This is the second time we've seen him attack with an Emery today. Down to 6 is James Mangus.
And now Folks basically on empty, and Mangus has a full grip, so plays Ketramose. Gonna be a ways on before that can attack. Needs to find a relic, but
okay, passes the turn back. In step, 3 mana. Oh, we're gonna go bouncing on the Stony Silence. This is pretty scary for Mangus now that these artifacts are unlocked. We can pop some clues. We can really do something for a turn.
Yeah, sacks the Mishra's Bauble now. Sacrifices one of the clues, so that's 2 extra cards. And now he has 2 more clues and an Emery on the Bauble to get 3 more.
Yeah, but if he doesn't find a way to protect from Wrath of the Skies, all this is going to be immediately undone next turn.
And he has to be concerned with the Ketramose and Overlord of the Belmerk on Mangus's side of the battlefield.
Yeah, Relic of Progenitus off the top could be disastrous, but these look like improvising artifacts, and we are going to tap 6. This might be time for the Kappa Cannoneer to come on back. James says that
resolves. It's going to be lethal next turn with a Mangus on 6 life if he doesn't have another answer.
And an Urza Saga. Well, that's looking pretty good. We can also draw a card with one of these clues. They still worked while they're tapped. Bring back Bauble. It's going to pump Kappa Cannoneer. Gonna look at your top card. All right. So, pass the turn and we draw. Okay, gonna pop the clue. We got 1 Bauble floating, so we haven't found a Rebuke yet. And I don't think we have enough to... Oh, we do have a 0-mana artifact, so if we find Rebuke off the draw, we have it potentially. Go ahead and play this Mox Opal, binning the previous one. I'm just going to go ahead and draw another card. Okay.
So 2 cards left in Folks' hand, but he's going to draw a 3rd on Mangus's upkeep from Mishra's Bauble.
Okay. Here we go, Bauble trigger. Kappa Cannoneer, threatening lethal.
Another Vindicate, but Mangus is on 6 mana, so not enough to pay for Ward 4 on the Kappa Cannoneer.
Yeah, looks like we're just going to go Wrath of the Skies for X equals 4, and I don't think we have any floating energy from earlier, so this is just going to make 1 extra energy, and then we're going to spend a bunch and kill everything except for the Kappa Cannoneer, and I guess Mangus is just praying that there's no artifact to play from Franklin Folks to give this Kappa Cannoneer unblockable.
Yeah, and it's still just a chump block with the Overlord.
Okay, Franklin, is this your tournament? Is it your time? Do you have the artifact?
He has 2 Urza Sagas in hand. He might not.
I don't think he does. He does have Dispatch, and Dispatch taps. Dispatch taps the creature, even if it doesn't exile it.
Yeah, he was
Belmerk
just checking
tapped.
that the Ketramose can't...
Belmerk tapped! Dispatch! For the win! Not even exiling! Franklin Folks, your champion with Azorius Affinity from left field. Wow.
You know, it's not Breach, but it's kind of Breach adjacent.
Okay, in order to kill this deck, what do we have to ban? We got to ban both Moxen, Emery, Tamio, We probably got to ban everything. Just burn it all. Let's start with Pioneer. Let's burn Modern. We'll get rid of it. Doesn't matter.
I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it tomorrow.
All right. Won't you fill for a second? I'll go get our champion in here so we can do an interview and get us some excitement.
What a weekend from Franklin Folks. Makes the top 8 yesterday. Felled in the quarterfinals. Comes back today and goes 2 better, 3 better, to win the tournament. Now automatically qualified for the Invitational in November and very much ahead of the pack on the leaderboard to get one of those top 8 spots to get a bye in that Invitational and be our Season 5 Player of the Year. Very impressive weekend. Let's get him in the booth, and then Todd and I will wrap it up. Franklin.
What's up?
Okay. Well, first order of business, congratulations.
Thank you.
Second order of business, this Bright Glass Gear Hulk AIQ Champion playmat is now yours.
Thank you.
Third order of business, how dare you? We had one Breach player in the top 8, one beautiful representative of the one true light Underworld Breach, and you had to defeat Josh Moscow in the semifinals. Why would you do that to me?
I was sad to do it, but he had to go.
Okay. Now, as far as this Azorius Affinity deck goes, shares a lot of cards with the Breach deck.
It does.
So, that begs the question, why play this deck and not play Team or Breach?
I just enjoy it better. It's not. It's worse. It's definitely worse.
Say I won.
I won, yes, but it's just funner. I just want to have fun.
Okay, so you're just here for the fun. Well, turns out you got to have your cake and eat it too.
Oh yeah.
How does it feel, not just winning the tournament, but to win it over a friend in the finals so you have bragging rights on the ride home?
It is great, and he's gonna buy my dinner probably.
That is awesome. Well, congrats again.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you at the Invitational in November. Let's get Todd back in the booth and wrap up this first weekend of the year here at the Apex Gaming Home Store in Caldwell, Ohio.
Have a good
Go
weekend.
top 8. You're gonna be number 1 on the leaderboard, homie. Yeah. Sick. I know. Yeah, it's great.
Okay, Todd. It's week 1 of season 5, weekend 1 of 2025.
Yeah.
And it was an exciting one.
It sure was. We had 2 days of Magic. I don't know,
Both
20,
events
20
over 100
rounds.
people.
10 rounds both days. 20
Yeah.
rounds of Magic. 20 hours of work. Pretty good.
And, 2 diverse top 8s.
Yeah.
Had no mono red and no bounce decks in the standard top 8 yesterday. Only 1 breach deck in the top 8 today.
Yeah, and 4 out of 4 different decks in the top 4 today too, which is a big deal, I think.
Yeah, I think players showing off a lot of what is possible in this modern format, and I think Franklin may have given us a scary look ahead at what is going to happen to this format after tomorrow's ban.
Yeah. So, just to recap, who won yesterday? I forgot already.
I was trying to remember and I couldn't.
Oh God, our brains are fried. It's okay. We have 2 very
Hold on.
deserving champions. Very deserving champions.
Jesse Hill.
We definitely remember. Congrats to Jesse Hill yesterday on Domain. It was a Domain mirror in the finals. Of course, we don't remember.
Just
right?
got to go back into my notes, okay?
Yeah. And then Franklin Folks, of course, just winning on Azorius Affinity. Look, tomorrow we're going to wait for Wizards of the Coast to make their announcement about the future of Modern and the future of competitive Magic. Every time they have one of these every couple of months, it always is a big stir, something worth talking about, something worth brewing around. I can't wait to see what they ban, but I also can't wait to see if they unban anything again, Ross.
We don't know what they're going to do. It's not assured. What is assured is the continuation of Apex Season 5. Our next event is going to be June 14th and 15th.
Yup.
Right here in Caldwell, Ohio. Todd and I will be back for that, covering the event, but we will not be alone in that capacity. We will be joined by a third member of our coverage team, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Corey Baumeister.
He's only got 1 ACL, but he's got 2 friends in the booth.
Jesus. I think Corey has already taken enough arrows to the knee. That's
Okay.
the first big chuckle I've gotten out of Taryn all weekend.
All right. Well, it's because he's stuck over there playing one of our new sponsored games, Once Upon a Galaxy, on his phone the whole time. But it's a great game. Thank you so much to the folks who make this tournament possible. The Huck brothers, of course, treating Ross and I like family, making sure that we have everything we need to put on a show for you guys. Thank you so much for the wonderful staff who make sure that the place is clean and the tournament runs smoothly. We love the 116 players that showed up today, 106 players that showed up yesterday. We hope that we crush those numbers in our next event. That's going to be June 14th and 15th, Apex Con. Book it. We'll see you there. That's Ross Merriam. I'm Todd Tandy Anderson. Say bye, Ross.
Bye, Ross.